Hello everybody and welcome back to Watching Walford. I'm Ash and now it's time to share some light on EastEnders. Been very Coronation Street focused lately, but in today's episode, that being the 8th of January 2025, they've revealed that Nigel has dementia, which now heading into the 40th anniversary, which I assume is where it's going to heat up dramatically, with Nigel clearly showing signs of struggling and not really knowing where he is and having issues, is a really good sign for the 40th anniversary, because I've been quite dismissive of it as of late. You know, the Denise Ravi love triangle, is it really a thing I'm enjoying? Let's just stop playing music on my phone, god damn it. You know, is it really something I'm excited to see? But having watched the start of the year with Denise and Ravi, now finding this weird, infectious, sexy chemistry of they both done bad things and they don't want to be defined by it, I am kind of fucking with it. And I do think that the right choice in that love triangle will be Denise and Ravi, because ultimately Jack had his chance, he threw it all away, and ultimately wasn't a really good husband to Denise at any time at all. But is that what Ravi wants? Is it what he should be going for the future? Is it Aunt him and Priya endgame? It's kind of a funny little duality, because I'm personally of the opinion that I think Denise should be single for a while. I was suggesting that Denise should probably have a bit more of a single era and not her taste in men shit. And I was hoping she'd find a newer character who she finds this chemistry with and isn't a bad person, so she'd finally have someone who's actually worth a shit to fall in love with. But, you know, Denise is bad luck with men, let's be honest. So, all in all, I was a bit dismissive of that. But, fundamentally, I think it will be an engaging stuff. It will be an engaging story if they rev it up the way they seemingly are, so credit to that. But back to the Nigel stuff. And it's very intertwined with Phil kind of losing... Phil, in a different sense, is losing his shit. He is fed up with life. He is withdrawing himself more and more, which is causing more problems for everybody else around him, because they expect him to be the Phil of old, but the Phil of old is no longer here. He's been increasingly more erratic and not irresponsible, but he's just not available to anyone other than Nigel. So it's a kind of, you know, and Phil's just been withdrawing more and deciding that maybe he doesn't enjoy this as much anymore. And it's kind of become a dramatic tragedy in a sense, where now we learn that Nigel has dementia, which, judging some of his actions and his approach, him walking out on Julie, and him having to set reminders, he's clearly forgetting and no longer wants Julie. He probably got the diagnosis and realized, I don't want Julie to see me like this. I don't want her to watch me slowly die. Which, you know, if you've been around anybody who's struggled with dementia, in the end, it does become hard to remember them as they were. Or so I've been told. So, and this is because Phil, as of, I think, the Tuesday episode, he decided, fuck it, Nigel, you're back in my life. You can have the gym. I don't fucking want it. I don't want anything to do with Teddy. I don't want anything to do with Sharon. Nigel, you have the gym. And Nigel's like, I don't really know if I want the gym, honestly. That's a bit of a... this is not something I want to do. And the family goes to confront Phil like, hey, why the fuck are you giving it all to Nigel? What about our kid's future? You know, what about Lexi? What about Ben? What about Raymond? You're giving up your future for nothing to Nigel. He's only just come back in your life after 30 years. Well, roughly. And he kind of just hits him with the most, like, why does it matter what I do with my money? Fuck off. I'm tired of this shit. You guys are all angry because I'm changing stuff and you don't, like, you want it to change. Is that all I am to you? And it's still really like dramatic stuff, and you can see the Steve McFadden acting out of Christmas, where you can see that he is fed up. He's just said, "I've had enough. I'm done." When seeing to Teddy, because everybody likes to think that Phil's problems are surface level, but it is something deeper. And at that stage, Nigel does leave, falls into some bins, and heads to the laundromat. And now a lot of the stuff starts to make sense. He tells Yolande, "I've been diagnosed with dementia," which, as said before, now I do believe that EastEnders, now, I think we're righting some of the wrongs, and I am much more looking forward to the 40th anniversary. I mean, if we just take the reins, I think this has the potential to be relatively similar to the Ethel Dot dying. I think it has similar shades of Dot and Nick. It has similar shades to Peggy in a sense. I feel like Nigel dying will hit surprisingly hard. And he will die on the show, without doubt. And I think that'll probably be the thing. That'll be a thing that hits Phil the hardest. And it'll be a way around where the last time with Peggy, where Phil refused, maybe this time Phil actually helps his friend die because he doesn't want to see him get any worse than he already is. And I think that could be a really poignant storyline and a way for Phil to realize and do stuff for Nigel and realize that at the end of the day, you know, life is worth it for moments in a sense like that. And with that said, it is going to be sad to see Nigel go, but as I said before, I do think it has the potential to be the like generational scenes where you have Ethel's death, which fucking makes me cry every time, Pat's death, Peggy's death, all these really big important moments, and will be a surprisingly good tearjerker. And it will be sad because Nigel has something else about him. He was a character who was established like a long time ago, so he comes with that pre-existing history. And he already has that character well defined. So he has been a big highlight of the show since he returned. I think it has been a really good return in a sense, as just like when David returned, it's like, oh, thank fuck he's back. Can we keep him? Can we keep him? And I think a lot of people will be reticent to let go of Nigel because he's just come back onto the show, and now he's likely gonna be gone again, and it's gonna be quite sad as a whole. But as a story heading up to the 40th anniversary, it was kind of teased that Kathy may have had to, in that like stupid leaked document, it was teased that Kathy may have a big dementia storyline going to the 40th. But now it seems like that's going to be given to Nigel. So I think once again, it's another really good step ahead of the 40th anniversary. I think it's going to be a surprisingly strong storyline, considering there was no real preamble ahead of time. There was no real build-up. But if we now just take what is probably going to be the big stories for the 40th, Nigel's dementia, who attacked Cindy, Ravi, Jack, Denise affair or love triangle, this a presumed fire, Linda's return to the show after being in rehab, perhaps to leave again. You'd have to imagine the sick stuff is going to finish up. Like, I think it's really shaping up to be a fairly well-rounded week, and there's going to be a lot of interesting aspects to go into. I have been overly critical about the show as of late, and I think that's perfectly reasoned. You know, probably been a bit too sweary, admittedly. Little bit too sweary. But fundamentally, this is what I'm passionate about. And as a critic, I can't say everything smells like sunshine and roses. Sometimes it smells of shit. So ultimately, I feel it's my job to give a honest and up-to-date take. So with that said, I think this Nigel dementia storyline is going to be fantastic, and it's a sad way because in a sense you would love for this character to come, like, I'm sure a lot of people would love to see Nigel back in the long term, but will it be long term? Feels very unlikely. So yeah, there we are. That is the video. What do you think about this new revelation that Nigel Bates has dementia? I think it is going to be surprisingly effective, and I think it's a great story to have going into the 40th anniversary. What do you think? Do you think, does this make up for some of the recent wrongs of Chris Clenshaw? Oh, and the recent Sonia stuff, the 40th, that too. But yeah, does it make up for some of the recent wrongs, in your opinion? Tell me in the comment section down below. I've been Ash from Watching Walford. Thanks for watching. Join me in the next one. See you then. Bye-bye.